स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथिता पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्ततामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी.
We have to start the Dhyuma Marga.
Dhyuma Marga, yeah, is for the one who is not a Karma Yogi.
Is for the one who is not a Karma Yogi. There is a Marga route for the one who is not a Karma Yogi, but who does rituals to gain some merit. Even though he is a Karmata, he is called a Yogi because he does only enjoined karmas, not those which are considered sinful. Thereby he gains a Devaloka called Chandraloka. Again, the description of this path is given only to praise the bright path. For both, travel is involved. On the bright path, there is no return once the knowledge is gained in Brahmaloka. Here, on the other hand, the Karmatas follow the path called
Karmatas. The T has to be pronounced as Ta. Karmatas.
Karmatas follow the path called Dhyuma Marga, smoky path. The Devatas on this path preside over things that represent darkness, the god of the night, the god of the waning or dark side of the moon, the god of the 6 months of the sun's southward travel, are there on this path. Jyotihi here refers to Karmapala and not light because light cannot be enjoyed. A person who has done the enjoined karmas enjoys the fruit of those actions for some time and then returns back to the earth. The jiva is not released from samsara just because he or she has done good karmas. The idea of the verse is that you travel, death does not give you moksha. Only knowledge can do it, and if it is not gained, you embark upon these two paths after death. But these are only the good paths. There are others which are not so good. There is even a Naraka, a place where you undergo certain pain, that is also Karmapala, and when it is exhausted, you return. Karmapala cannot be eternal, so even from a painful loka, you will return. Here only the desirable ends are talked about, and even from them you return.
So basically what he means is that the whole thing is gati. Gati meaning going and coming. So whether you go to a poor place and come back or whether you go to a good place and come back, it is only a very nominal difference. So whether you do good karma, go to a good place and come back, or whether you do a bad karma, go to a bad place and come back, either way you come back. Because you, as long as you are looking at yourself as something separate from Ishvara and all Devatas and all that, you keep praying. So the very fact that you have isolated yourself, you remain in isolation. You remain a jiva and keep coming back. As long as you are a jiva, you keep going and coming. So the very premise with which is all these good karmas, upasanas, tapas, everything is done is keeping you away from Ishvara. So you start with that premise. You yourself have decided that I am away from Ishvara, I am an individual, I am an individual entity, etc. So whatever good or bad, whatever, it is only keeps you in good humor or keeps you away from bad karmas. The fear of going to Naraka keeps you away from bad karmas. And if you are doing good karma, it keeps you in good humor. Okay, you are a satisfied person fairly and you keep going and coming back. But our objective of yoga as well as Brahma Vidya is to gain that freedom wherein here and now you don't feel isolated from Bhagavan. You are one with Bhagavan. That is the freedom. That is the real freedom. That is where the whole ecology is of Brahma Vidya or even our own life. I would say, not even Brahma Vidya, our own understanding of life is to be in harmony with life. There is no separateness, no fragmentation. Everything is one, unified. Because which is common everywhere. All of us wants to be one. No, we don't want to be separate. Because separation means fear. Something other person may do something harm, or he may become bigger than me. All those things are always there. So the oneness alone can be blessing. That is why this whole 8th chapter talks about the differentiation of Adibhuta, Deva, Adhyatma and all that. Differentiation is because that is how we look at ourselves, and that is how the whole the Srishti design itself is to keep us going till the time we come to understanding. So for that, Bhagavan is blessed with an like we have been talking about for Brahma Vidya, we need an internal infrastructure wherein we are able to study and understand. There is an external infrastructure till the time you are looking at yourself externally. You are not looking at yourself internally, you are always busy with your Pancha Pramanas outside. There also a meaningful infrastructure is needed for you so that you don't fall by the wayside. You are kept afloat. For that the external infrastructure is given. That is that the Atma, the Yajna, the whole 8th chapter, and Krama Mukti, going to Brahma Loka, going to good Loka, etc. So all these things are explained. The whole thing is, it involves travel. And as long as you are isolated from Ishvara and your own reality, you will be traveling. The whole travel has been explained. What are the good parts or what are the not so good parts. Now that is what we are continuing. Yeah.
So then supposing when we are doing all the karmas, it means that we are keeping away from God.
Yeah, in the sense, if keeping away from God because we are, it is not, we are keeping ourselves away from God, knowing fully well that we are one with God. We don't know. That is why we are keeping away from God. It is not out of choice. It is purely because of ignorance. So, the ignorance part of it, we are now getting exposed to. But the ignorance has to be got rid of. This is by understanding that we are one with Ishvara, our Atma is the same as the Ishvara, Swarupa and all that. So, when we say that we are by doing karma, we are keeping ourselves away from God, is only if you understand. If you don't understand, we think that is what life is. There is a superior power, there is a superior will governing the whole thing. We pray for it. In terms of that, we do karma and upasana and all those things. The thing is that we are not even aware that there is something that our own Swarupa is a blessed self, is one with Ishvara, that we don't know. That is why it is not because we are doing karma we are keeping away from Ishvara. It's because we don't know that we are one with Ishvara, we are doing karma. That is what I am trying to say. Since that is very important, that understanding. Yeah.
Or in other words, if we are clear that we are same as Brahman, then when we do any karma, we should feel that we are doing for ourselves.
Yeah, in the sense, it is for Loka Sankarartham. Thereafter what? When you are one with Brahman, means the whole Brahma, the Ishvara, the whole creation or manifestation is our own Swarupa, and we are for doing the Loka Sankarartham, for the blessings of all, I am doing this karma. So the Sankalpam itself will become different. Loka Sankarartham. And Sarvojana Sukhino Bhavantu. Like Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahimahi Saha. The whole prayer will be for Loka Paripalanam and for Loka Kshemartham. Not for Trahimam Pahimam, give me this, give me that, give me that. That will not be the prayer. The prayer, the Sankalpa itself will become Loka. That is why it will become what you call. That is a real karma yoga, contributory life. Even the prayer, even if you don't do anything, by praying for the welfare of all, you become a contributor. Rather than praying for the welfare of I, me, my family. Aishwarya, Abhivartyartham, Karma Phala Siddhyartham, and all our prayer, our sankalpas are generally. Even if you tell the priest 1,000 times, Loka Sankarartham, Bhagavan ke Pandidu Abdinalume, he will ask you for your Gotra and he will say Abhividyartham, all that he will say. Because by praying for your welfare only, he thinks he will get his Dakshina. So that is, in the sense, the whole thing is, we are so much used to it, they become part of our psyche. That is what I am trying to tell. When all our karma upasana, the same thing you can do. but Loka Shankarartham, for the purpose of benefit of society. And that is really, the prayer itself is very fulfilling. That itself will create a certain, Visala Buddhi. That it will reduce the fear of being isolated from Ishvara. All those things are very important. Yeah.
So when Kamakuti Shankaracharya, when he does puja, he will do sankalpam for the sake of.
Yes, very much. Very much. For the Loka Shankarartham, for purely for Loka. He himself says that all their tapas is meant for only, they have nothing to do with for themselves. They are already Mukta Purushas. They are all their sankalpa, all their prayers are only for Loka Kshemartham, Dharma Rakshanartham, Dharma Paripalanam, all those things. Very important. And that is what we are also, all of us, as we grow into this understanding, we should, our prayers, our sankalpa should be in that fashion. That itself is a blessing. As you do it, you will feel blessed. Like every day when you do that Swasti mantra, Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayana Margena, every day after the prayer, after our all ashrams, final mantra is Swasti mantra only. Thereafter only we give prasada. So the Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam, the whole thing is meant for whole humanity, including living and non-living beings, whole world. It's not just one nation or one community or something like that.
Yeah. Shukla Krishne Gati Hete Jagata Shashvate Made Ekaya Yatya Navrittim Anya Yavartate Punaha. He, as is well known, Jagataha of the world, Yate Gati, these two paths, Shukla Krishne, the bright and the dark, Shashvate Mate, are considered eternal. Ekaya, traveling by one, Anavrittin Yati,
Yati.
place of no return.
Yati.
Yati means going, yeah.
Anyaya, by the other, Avartate Punaha, one returns again. As is well known in the Shastra, these two parts of the world, the bright and the dark, are considered eternal. By the one path, one goes to a place of no return. By the other, one returns again.
What
happened?
Prashant, mute.
No, my page got disturbed. What verse?
26. Shukla Krishna Gati Hete.
Okay. 8th chapter, 26th verse.
Shukla Krishne Gati Yete Jagataha. These two paths by which one gains various ends are called as Shukla, the bright path, and Krishna, the dark path. He here indicates, as it is known in the Shastra, Shastra is the only means of knowing them. Jagat means world, and here it stands for the world of people, the meditators and those who do good actions. For such people who are qualified to do karma, there are these two paths available. The two paths are relatively eternal.
Prashant, you got it, Prashant? Prashant?
Yes, I got it.
Yeah, he got it.
Shashvate Mate, they are considered eternal. These paths are relatively eternal because samsara can go on indefinitely. Unless you gain moksha, it does not come to an end. You have to put an end to it by knowing the truth about yourself. So when it is said that these two paths are eternal, the idea is that there is no natural liberation. You must have a desire to know, and until that happens, samsara continues. For the jiva who is ignorant, samsara seems eternal. Ekaya yati anavrittim anyaya avartate punaha. By one path, he goes to an end from where there is no return. Anavriti, that is the Shukla Gati, whereby he reaches Brahmaloka. and that being taught by Brahmaji gains moksha. If he goes by the other, the Duma or Krishna Gati, he comes back. Between these the two paths, one would naturally want to choose the bright one, which leads to moksha. Moksha, however, is gained not by a gati path, but by knowledge, which Bhagavan shows in the next verse.
Yeah.
Verse 27, the yogi knows that moksha is not gained by gati but by knowledge. Naite stuti partha janan yogi muhyati kaschana tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavarjuna. Partha, O son of Pita, Arjuna, kaschana yogi, a yogi, ete shruti, these two paths, janan, knowing, na muhyati, is not deluded, tasmat, therefore, Arjuna, O Arjuna, sarveshu kaleshu, at all times, yoga yuktaha, united to yoga, bhava, may you be. Knowing these two paths, Partha, Arjuna, a yogi is not deluded. Therefore, Arjuna, at all times, may you be united to yoga. Na ete Partha janan yogi muhyati kaschana. O Arjuna, knowing these two paths, a yogi does not get deluded. The yogi here is a viveki or a jignasu. He is not at all deluded about these two paths because he knows one is for samsara, the other is for moksha. He has no confusion about the fact that gaining another loka does not give him liberation. Freedom comes only by knowledge, which can be gained here or in Brahmaloka. The whole of humanity suffers from this delusion that going to heaven is moksha. It is methodically propagated by all religions and is so prevalent in humanity that Krishna had to state it explicitly as a delusion. A viveki or yogi is not deluded about this at all. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukta bhavarjuna. Therefore, O Arjuna, equip yourself for this knowledge at all times. Whatever is necessary for knowledge, please do. Yoga here is knowledge, preceded by antakarana shuddhi, purification of the mind. Knowledge is yoga, and any means that helps you gain it is also called yoga.
Yeah, actually, even Bhashyakara is not so very explicit that this yoga is meant for only knowledge. But Swamiji is very clear. He says moksha is not gained by gati but by knowledge. He is emphasizing on that. Bhashyakara says, okay, kaschana yogi. Most of them will go for this either Shukla Gati or Krishna Gati as yogi also. But some of them, Kaschana yogi, the Bhagavan says, Kaschana means koi. Some people among them will prefer to going to Brahmaloka and gaining knowledge. Why not here itself? That way they will go for knowledge straight away. So that is what Swamiji insists on that. Since Brahma Vidya is the Pradhanam. Not going and coming, whether it is Brahmaloka or other lokas. Yeah.
Verse 28. Such a yogi crosses all that and gains the status of Ishvara. Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pratishtam adyeti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti sadhyam. Yogi, the yogi, idam viditva, knowing this, yat punya phalam, the result of good actions, vedeshu, with regard to Veda, study of the Vedas, yajneshu, in rituals, tapassu, in disciplines, cha eva, and as well, daneshu, in charities, shastrena, by the shastra. Footnote 43. This word is understood here and is therefore added to complete the meaning. Okay, it's understood. Pratishtam is ordained, tat sarvam, punya phalam, all that punya phalam, atyeti goes beyond adhyam, the primal cause, param sthanam, which is the highest state, upaiticha, and he reaches. The yogi, knowing this, the answers to Arjuna's questions here, goes beyond all things taught by the Shastra with reference to the result of good actions, which abides in the study of the Veda, the rituals, disciplines and charities. And he reaches the primal cause of creation, which is the highest state.
Yeah, he recalls the Arjuna's questions, what is Adi Yajna, Adi Bhuta, Adi Adhyatma and all that in the beginning. All those questions are answered. Knowing all this, knowing the answers for all that, he goes beyond that with reference to the result of good actions. Finally, what is needed is, and he reaches the primal cause of creation, which is the highest state. Yeah.
There are two sentences here. Knowing this, the yogi crosses all that. Yogi idam viditva tat sarvam atyati is one sentence. The other is param adyam sthanam upaiti. He reaches the highest place, the primal cause of creation. Vedesu yajneshu tapassu cha eva daneshu pratishtam yat punya phalam. The punya that is ordained by the Shastra as a result of the study of the Vedas, performing of various rituals, austerities and charities. These are the ways by which one gathers punya phala. Studying the Veda is a punya karma. Besides, there are many rituals mentioned there which, if performed, bring punya phala. The emphasis is both on the study of the Veda and the performance of rituals. Tapas is following various religious disciplines. Dana is giving time, expertise or money to others. All these produce adrishta phala that is not immediately seen by you but is credited to your account and reaped either in this life itself or later in another life. Yogi idam viditva tat sarvam atyeti. Knowing this, the answers to Arjuna's questions in the first and second verses of this chapter, the yogi grows out of the limited means and ends. He goes for the total freedom, that is knowing oneself as the limitless Brahman, which is the Lord.
So this is the meaning given by Swamiji. Basically, even the Bhashyakara doesn't say that. Yogi idam viditva. Viditva is going what is told by the Vedas and doing it. Okay. Viditva, other meaning is knowing, understanding what is it all about. That is Brahma Vidya. So Bhagavad Swamiji gives the meaning Viditva means knowing. Knowing oneself as limitless Brahman, which is the Lord. 1 minute, somebody is So, the Viditva means, here he means that knowing oneself as the limitless Brahman, which is the Lord. That is what Swamiji gives the meaning. Yeah.
1 minute. No. The yogi idam viditva tat sarvam adyeti. Knowing this, the answers to Arjuna's questions in the first and second verses of this chapter, the yogi grows out of the limited means and ends. He goes for the total freedom, that is knowing oneself as the limitless Brahman, which is the Lord. Param sthanam upaiti cha adyam, and he gains the status of Ishvara, which is the highest status one can reach. Adya is what is in the beginning, the cause of creation. Only Brahman was there in the beginning. Then Brahman created the entire world and is in the form of this world. The cause is very important here. If it is Satya, the product becomes Mithya because there is no product separate from its cause. When the cause is Satya, the product continues to be Brahman. Therefore, if one understands this, the nature of Brahman, the creation, which includes oneself, Ishvara, the Adyam Karanam, first cause, and knowing I am everything, all these lokas have no meaning. Then one understands that I am that Brahman, and understanding that, one gains that ultimate end.
Yeah, so this is where the major problem is most of the most of the even among the Shastrakaras like various Nyayikas, Sankhyas, all those Purvapakshis, even the Vedavids, they don't accept this part of this Mithya part of it, no? They somehow they resist the understanding that everything can be, because everything is Mithya means what? Mithya means dependent reality. Dependent reality is then Satyam is the only reality, and Mithya is being dependent on Satyam is available for Vyavahara, but it has no reality of its own. So once that understanding is thorough, then I am that Brahman goes without saying, because there is only one reality, that is Atma, that is Brahman. So that is the crux of the whole understanding of Shastra. That is why even in Brahma Sutra, when Bhagavan, that is Adi Shankara, supposed to be the very famous commentary in the whole philosophy, whole world of philosophy, from Brahma Sutra, Shankara Bhashyam, Adhyasa Bhashyam, the reality understanding of world is very, very important, because he is the person who coins the word Mithya, meaning, and he explains one particular chapter completely, that's which we have discussed, like the whole world is nothing but Nama Rupa, which I have told in one of the examples like clay, pot and all those things. So, the whole world of serious transactions which we do, all the whole world is only Nama Rupa. And the Nama Rupa is, if you really analyze, scrutinize, what is remaining is only Satyam. And everything else is available for Vyavahara, it is available for transaction, available for communication. So it can give you a feeling of multivarious diversity and all that. But the whole thing, once scrutinized, once you understand, they are only Nama Matram, Rupa Matram, and the reality is the awareful being. That is only Satyam, everything else is Mithya. So Satyam Mithya is the major contribution of Shankara to the whole world of philosophy. And even though in those days there was a lot of contentions and Shankara has argued out and all that, but even today, even though it is not being argued, but people still, they do not, even scientists, even though they find out that everything keeps changing, so changing means Mithya, changeless is Satyam. Like as I have told you, epistemology means knowledge which cannot be negated, which cannot be improved upon. In that case, there is only one knowledge that is possible, that Atma is Brahman. Everything other knowledge is either improved upon or negated. So, that is, these things, even though they are all very real, very clearly laid out in the order of epistemology, in the order of reality called ontology, but still people, they are so much used to the Vyavahara and all these things, progress, regress and all that. 99.9% of humanity, including great scientists and all that, they are looking at this as a changing world, as something real, and we are all working at it. That is where naturally it is bound to have plus and minus, dukkham and sukham alternately keep coming. There is no way you can say that you will avoid all dukkham and will have only sukham, prosperity, standard of living and all that. It is all based on a wrong premise that there is a possibility of prosperity where there is no poverty and all that. It's not, because the whole premise itself is a changing reality. Changing reality means what goes up will come down. Today somebody will be up, tomorrow he will be down. Today somebody will be down, tomorrow he will be up. It will cycle, it will keep going. It's bound to be like that. But anyway, the world is like that. That is why this knowledge, this understanding, as we are talking about, is very primordial in the sense that only can really give that Sanatanam, that the unity in diversity. It is possible only in this understanding. Otherwise, it is going to be like this only all the time. Yeah.
Swamiji, what that Adhyasa we read some time back.
Yeah.
It's different from Mithya.
No, Adhyasa is Mithya, basically. See, Adhyasa Mithya meaning what? Mithya means that which is a dependent reality. Reality is Satyam. What is dependent on it but appears to be there, Satyavat Bhati, as though Satyam, it's called Mithya. Mithya is something like, looks like Satyam, but it is not Satyam, that's all. So, there is no difference between Adhyasa and Mithya. Adhyasa is what? Error prone understanding. We take Satyam as Mithya and Mithyam as Satyam. So, that error prone understanding is called Adhyasa. Because of the error prone understanding, naturally we will take one to be the other, so we will confound your mistake. Because you will start with the simple mistake and will keep confounding it. In the sense, it will get only aggravated. Because as I was telling, once you start a problem, mathematical sum 1 plus 1 equal to 3, whatever you do thereafter, it will only take you away from the reality, more and more. Even though the other steps may be right. Because fundamentally you have made an erratic assumption, saying that changeless as change, changing, changeless you are not aware of. So changing is you take it as reality. That is called Adhyasa. Itaretara bhava anupapata. The definition of Adhyasa is Paratra Purva Drishta Avabhasaha. Meaning, இருக்கும் தமிழ் ஒரு பாட்டு கூட இருக்கு இல்லையா, இருக்கும் இடத்தை விட்டு இல்லாத இடம் தேடி எங்கெங்கோ போகின்றாயே ஞானத்தங்கமே, something like that. A song is there, it's a movie song. It is exactly that. It is exactly that. In the sense, it is you, yourself is the Purnam Brahma. Whereas you have decided it doesn't exist here, it is outside. So you keep on searching outside. So that is based on error. And even though your pursuit may be very earnest, very honest, if you are looking at the wrong place, it is going to be Adhyasa only. Yeah. So that is what it is. Adhyasa is the Karyam and Avidya is the Karanam. That is the only difference. Avidya is the Karanam, Adhyasa is the Karyam. It is the result of error. So this way it closes. It started with Arjuna's questions of all whatever Madhyatma, Adibhuta, Adidevam, Adiyajna and Krama Mukti, all that he was asking, and they got all the information. But all this information only helps you to travel better compared to others who don't travel well. Instead of Dakshina Marga, you can go to Uttara Marga. Instead of Dhuma Marga, you can go to lighted Marga, etc. But all are involving travel. The whole, because this is, even though it is not the Tatparya of Bhagavad Gita, which is Karma Yoga and Brahma Vidya, but it is there in the Shastra. It is there in the Shastra and Upanishad. Every Upanishad talks about Srishti, all these yoga rituals and all that in a brief manner. So Bhagavan also is devoted one chapter for this, explaining all these things to. And finally he has also told all these things do not help. Your understanding that I am Brahman is the only thing that gains the ultimate end. That he has also mentioned it here. Yeah. Now this the 8th chapter is over. Yeah, we can close the mantra with that. Yeah.
Param sthanam upaiti chadyam. And he gains the, when the cause is Satya, the product continues to be Brahman. Therefore, if one understands this, the nature of Brahman, the creation, which includes oneself, Ishvara, the Adyam Karanam, first cause, and knowing I am everything, all these lokas have no meaning. Then one understands that I am that Brahman, and understanding that, one gains that ultimate end. Om Tat Sat. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishnarjuna Samvade Akshara Brahma Yogo Nama Ashtamodhyaya. Brahman is the only reality. Thus, in the 8th chapter called Akshara Brahma Yoga, having the topic of imperishable Brahman in the Bhagavad Gita, which is in the form of a dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, which is the essence of the Upanishads, whose subject matter is both the knowledge of Brahman and Yoga. Footnote: here the word Yoga refers to anything a person needs in terms of Antakarana Shuddhi, preparation of the mind and so on, that is needed for the assimilation of this knowledge. Since the Gita discusses all these along with Brahma Vidya, it is also referred to as Yoga Shastra. Chapter 9.
Chapter 9, Raja Vidya Vidya Raja Guhya Yoga.
Swamiji, just one question.
Yeah.
See, Arjuna himself forgets Bhagavad Gita. In some of the story we come to know, he forgets Krishna's teachings at one point, and he doesn't apply like that. So the question is, why does he also, loses that knowledge, Swamiji?
Because he is not yet ready, like mentally. That is why Bhagavan himself says that even though he is teaching him, he has to go through this process of yoga for him to be mentally prepared. For the internal infrastructure has to be ready, so that when the teacher tells you that you are Brahman, I must be able to claim it. I must be able to own it. For that, my internal infrastructure has to be ready. If it is totally fraught with doubts and fraught with chanchalam, and so he will not be able to create that space between the reality and the vyavahara, in which he is totally entangled himself, totally the abhishneha, attachment, all these things they are all pratibandhakas which will not allow you to own up the fruits of this understanding. Even though cognitively you might have started to know, but it will not be your learning, it will still be a Shastra learning. The Shastra learning has to become your learning. Then you don't have to remember. You will not forget also. Obviously you won't forget. You will live by that learning spontaneously. That is what Bhagavan has told in the second chapter itself. Prajahati yata kaman sarvan partha manogatan Atmani Atmana Tushtaha Sthita Prajnaha Sa Uchyate. Sthita Prajnaha means there will not be question of forgetting and all that. It will become spontaneous. Atmani Atmana Tushtaha. He will be very spontaneously be a happy person doing whatever he need to do. And he will choose only whatever is rightful dharma based actions only he will do. Other things will keep coming. It's not that he will not get the thoughts. He will also get thoughts, fancies, fantasies. Or he will also dream. But all those things he will keep aside. What is required to be done at a given point in time in only time, because he is clear about his understanding. So that is the difference. That is why Bhagavan himself does not recommend, even though Arjuna wanted to go away to Rishikesh or become a tapasvi, he says you are not yet ready. First you have to go through this. You have to get yourself mentally ready for the whole thing. For that you have to do karma as yoga. And at any point in time you will be very question of forgetting or chanchalam ki manaha and all those things you will slowly grow out of. That is what is. That is why yoga is needed. That is why yoga shastra. Yoga shastra is meant to ready your mental internal infrastructure so that Brahma Vidya you claim as your reality.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I read through all these chapters where Krishna specifies a lot of keeping this in mind and applying in that, this kind of little thought comes asking how Arjuna, who heard everything from Krishna himself, tends to forget it. It is because of his...
Actually, Arjuna is the archetype achiever, the typical achiever's mentality. He has always been an achiever. But he has, in terms of understanding, there is no question of achievement or not so achievement. It's a question of reality understanding. So that first he has to come down to that. The reality is the same for achiever as well as a non-achiever. Because there is only one reality. There is achievement and non-achievement is only a very relative term. And the achiever and the non-achiever itself shows a sense of fragmentation in the mind. Whereas there is nothing like that. There is nothing to achieve, nothing to lose also. Because there is only one reality. So for that to come to that, he has to be ready. The internal infrastructure comes once you do anything. In this case, the war, with the total disidentification from aham mama buddhi. It is not my war or my people. All those things has to be kept away and just do what is to be done to protect the dharma. That way you live for some time, then automatically the identification body mind will go. Then the reality understanding will really emerge as the true, as yourself. And aham mama are all only props, like to keep navigate your life. That's all. As long as you are in a place in a given place, in a given time. So there are people around you, there is whole aham, my family, whatever. All those things are only upacharikam. Upacharikam meaning they are all there just to do whatever you need to do. But your reality is there is only one. That will be very alert, you will be alert to that. There is no question of reminding. You don't have to be reminded, it will be spontaneous. That he has to get to that. So Arjuna is only an example for all of us. He represents all of us.
Okay.
Swamiji, I have a very, very basic question.
Yeah.
It looks very absurd. But still, it just came to my mind, I thought I would ask you.
Yeah.
When we say yoga, they got nothing to do with Patanjali yoga. Am I right?
With?
Patanjali yoga, we learn.
Yeah. Yoga term, yoga is the root, the dhatu, the grammar root is yuj meaning to unite. Okay. So the unite, the meaning itself is unity in diversity, that oneness of life, that is the objective. But for that, the oneness of life to be the understanding, first oneness has to come here. That is what yoga does. All your even physical yoga, asana yoga, pranayama, everything is supposed to help you remain in one with the self, one even in the mind, relative level in mind. In the sense, you must be able to be a single silent being, keeping away all the noises. That for that yoga helps. So Patanjali yoga and the Ashtanga yoga all are part of the this karma yoga. In the sense, the Ashtanga yoga also can become part of the karma yoga. But along with Ashtanga yoga, what you needed is that even in your relative life, you must be able to be Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, Prasada Buddhi, all those things. Karma yoga, yoga karma sukausalam, samatvam yoga muchyate, dukkha samyoga viyoga, which is being told in Gita. Ashtanga yoga, in terms of physical asana, pranayama, physical this discipline, tapas, etc. And this living life, ahimsa, paramo dharma, later also it will come, amanitvam, madambitam, don't expect respect from others, don't be a pretending fellow, all those things. Those are all also your part of the yoga. This is how you conduct your life in Vyavahara and how you keep your mental and physical discipline. Both are yoga. So Patanjali yoga is taking only aspect of it, one aspect of it. It doesn't address your personality problems, your conscious, unconscious issues and all, which Gita takes care. So Gita, the yoga that is being talked about, Yoga Shastra is more comprehensive in terms for all. That is why Arjuna is the typical samsari, a typical grahastha is being talked about. The nucleus of the whole society is grahastha. If grahastha is properly addressed, then everything else falls in place. So that is how it is. Whereas Patanjali yoga is meant for only yogis who are already away from society, they have to just concentrate and all that. So it is very one aspect of it only. It doesn't take care of the overall personality of the person. Whereas the yoga that is being talked about in Bhagavad Gita is complete, more comprehensive, and that will help you, anyone in the society, to understand this Vidya, wherever you are, whatever you are. So it is more universal. That is how yoga of Gita is talked about. Yeah.
Shastra, when you talk about Shastra, is it same as Vedas?
Yeah, Veda is Shastra, but Veda includes Vedanta. But generally when they say Veda, it's only Karma Kanda they talk about. Whereas Vedanta is part of the Veda and together it is called Shastra. That is why it is, even in Brahma Sutra it comes Shastra Yonitvad. The whole Brahma Jnanam is Shastra Yonitvam. Yonitvam meaning is born in Shastra. The whole Brahma Jnanam is born in Shastra, Shastra Yonitvad, Shastrasyabi Yonitvad. In the sense, your reality, even Shastra is born from your reality. So both ways it is meant. In the sense, from the reality, Shastra came. Obviously, reality is only one. From there, Shastra came. But Shastra also talks about the reality. So they are both mutually helpful. Shastra talks about the reality. The reality helps to manifest Shastra. When the creation comes, along with that Shastra comes. It's a manual for human living. Comes along with the sense. along with the creation. So it is not that it was born at a particular point in time. It comes along with the creation. That is Shastra. Shastra is a very comprehensive term. It is not Shastra that is talked about in our normal parlance in terms of just Dharma Shastra, religion, temple, or vidhis, or rituals and all. No. Shastra means Sasana Karta, in the sense, Sasana Karta meaning one who one who rules the entire manifestation. So that is why Shastra, even INR is called Shastra. Shastra means one who establishes Shastra. It's called Shastra. Shastra is the rule book, that's all.
Let me read chapter 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Chapter 9, Rajavidya, Rajapuhya Yogaha. Topic of the king of knowledge, the king of secrets. In the previous chapter, a number of topics were discussed, ending with the gain of Brahmaloka and the possibility of Kramamukti. It was said that a person meditating upon a form of the Lord for the sake of moksha reaches Brahmaloka, where Brahmaji can teach him that he is limitless Brahman, the cause of creation. Knowing that he is free, he does not come back. That is, there is anavritti for him, an end to the cycle of birth and death that characterizes moksha. It is possible only with the knowledge that I am Brahman. Only then is there no longer an individual, an entity that can assume a body and travel. All this was pointed out, and you may conclude that by meditation upon the Lord, Saguna Brahma, you gain moksha, though not in this life. To show that there is no such thing, Bhagavan reveals that mukti is always immediate. This has to be said explicitly to eliminate any notion that by going to heaven, you will gain liberation. For that purpose, Bhagavan begins the 9th chapter of the Gita with the following verse.
See, there again, when he says that we will go to Brahmaloka where Brahmaji can teach him that he is limitless Brahman, there again, when he gets the teaching, there and then, when he gets the teaching, there and then he will be a Mukta Purusha. He will have, so, the freedom is always here and now when the teaching is complete, wherever it is, whether it is in Brahmaloka or this Loka. So, the critical aspect of this liberation is here and now. As you understand, you will be a Mukta Purusha, freedom. So freedom is always here and now. It is never later. As far as Shastra is concerned, freedom is never later. Freedom is here and now. So you have to continue with this study and this mananam and dhyanam and other things as long as till the time you understand here and now. Yes, from now on I don't have any doubts. I am a free person. That is the key. That is the key to the whole teaching. That is what he is trying to say here. So don't postpone it. That even if it is some very rich, very Brahma Loka, maybe a very important thing and very the path, the karma, upasana, and tapas, and all are very enriching. Even though still it is all meant for a future date. So that moksha does not allow any future date. It has to be always here and now, wherever it is. That is what we have to understand the whole thing. It is always immediate. So that is what is going to explain in the 9th chapter. Yeah.
Verse 1, Krishna reveals this most secret knowledge gained right now. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Idam Tute Guhyatamam Pravakshyamyana Suyave Jnanam Vijnana Sahitam Yajnatva Mukyase Shubhat. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Sri Bhagavan, the Lord, Uvacha said, to, whereas, idam, this, Guhyatamam, Jnanam, most secret knowledge, Vijnana Sahitam, together with immediate knowledge, they, Anasuyave, to you who are with calumny, Pravakshyami, I will explain clearly and in detail, Yajnatva, doing which, moksha say, you will be released from all that is inauspicious. See, Bhagavan said, now I will clearly explain to you who are, without calumny, his most secret knowledge together with immediate knowledge, knowing which you will be released from all that is inauspicious. Vakshyami means I will explain. The prefix pra enhances the meaning of the verb. Therefore, pravakshyami means I will explain in detail clearly. Explain what? Idam, this. Since Bhagavan is just starting this chapter, how can he use the pronoun this, which usually refers to something directly in front of you? Here, while introducing the topic, he says this. But the pronoun can also be used to refer to a topic already begun, which is now being further discussed. And it can be used when you have something in mind which you are going to explain, just as when you say, when I went to New York today, I met this man. This man is someone you have in your mind whom you are going to talk about. Shankara says, having brought to his mind that Buddha Sannidhi Nitya, what he is going to tell has already crystallized in his mind. Idam is Brahma Jnana, the knowledge of Brahman that was unfolded from the second chapter through to the eighth and is now going to be elaborated further. Bhagavan is saying, I am going to tell you what I have already talked about before, knowing full well what he is going to talk about later in this chapter.
So this is what it is. This is a style of teaching, basically, which I have always been trying to tell. Like when we finish 6 chapters, what we talked about, what is the content of the 6 chapters. In 7th chapter, when Mattaha, Anyaha, Na, when the theme of the chapter is told, it means what has been told in all 6 chapters is not away from Ishvara, Mattaha, Anyaha, Na. So 6th and 7th chapter are linked. And the 8th chapter talked about all the things, Vyavahara or the Karma, Upasana of the Karma Kanda and all that. To give the whole external infrastructure, we are generally very intrigued about what is this Karma, Upasana, Tapas, Krama Mukti, what do you call, what is Brahmarandra, all those things. We have got ideas, which Arjuna talked on behalf of all of us to know what it is all about, all this Karma Kanda. Even though it was all explained, finally Bhagavan told all these are only talking about travel within samsara, whereas your understanding has to be one of Brahma Vidya, and that is your own reality. That is why here when he starts talking, he says, that only I am going to talk about. Well, like Bhagavan Shankara has mentioned, Tad Buddha Sannidhi Kritya. Sannidhi Kritya meaning, Sannidhi Kritya means very close. Sannikarsha means close to yourself. What is close to yourself? Only yourself. What is close to yourself is only yourself. So I am going to talk about yourself only, yourself. Atmajnanam, Tad Buddha, that is what is in his mind, in Shankara's mind. That is why he says, Tad Buddha Sannidhi Kritya. So what I am having in mind, I am going to explain to you. And that is why he says, there are 2 things he says in the beginning, first verse itself. He says, I will explain to you the most secret knowledge together with the immediate knowledge. Meaning, what is immediate? Immediate is yourself only. Everything starts from you. So, that immediate knowledge means aparoksha. Aparoksha meaning what is not away from me. That is what is the knowledge I am going to talk about. That is what is guhyatamam. Because you are looking outside, what is there, your reality, you keep looking outside. So, it becomes a very secretive thing because you will never get it. Like, I think I told the story also, no, in the train. I don't know whether I have told you. The train, there were 2 people traveling together in first class or coupe or something. And one fellow was a very rich fellow and the other person was an ordinary person. Since they had to travel for 2 days, every day, the first night and all that, before going to sleep, even in the afternoon, before going to sleep, the rich person will take out his briefcase and count and all that, and everything is in place and put it, and then go to sleep. And again the night and second. But the second night, the third night, before the third night comes, the other fellow somehow wanted to find out where is he keeping all that money. So when he is way to the bathroom or something like that, he searched all these, anyway it should be in his bed only. So he searched all his compartment and all that, but he couldn't get. So he got very intrigued. And before getting down on the third day, he asked, see, where are you counting every time? I just out of curiosity I am asking you, where do you keep all these things? And then he told, I kept it under your pillow. That is, the fellow who is counting, under his pillow he is kept. Why? He said, nobody will search in his own pillow others' money. So, that is being the psychology. So, he felt that is the safest place to keep. So, before retiring to bed or before going to bathroom and all that. Just imagine. So, this story is told only to say why it is Guhyatamam. Why it is? Because it is within you. It is Guhyatamam because it is within you and you are looking for outside. That is why it is Raja Guhyatamam. So, naturally the key to that is unlocking that what is immediate, what is you. First you have to understand that. There lies the solution. That is why it is called immediate knowledge and that is why it is Guhyatamam. That is the introduction to this 9th chapter. Why it is called Raja Guhyam? Because it is, you will never get it outside. And Guhyat, and it is immediate because it is you. So that is what is the Brahma Jnanam, Atma Jnanam is all about. That is what he has introduced now. Yeah.
Like Swamiji, previously when we used to have landline, it used to ring at one place, we used to walk and take it. Nowadays we take mobile with us, but we keep it somewhere and we don't know, again search for it by walking like that.
Yeah, this is this most any knowledge, if the problem is you, solution is. There is a famous book by Swamiji.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the sense, if you are the problem, only you can be the solution. The solution cannot be outside. So that part of it, most of us we don't. We always think that the solution of a problem lies outside with somebody else. We always look for somebody else to blame for our problems. We don't think that it can be our own. Anyway, so that is the whole.
One small thing, actually. One small thing which I forgot. When I was in 8th standard, my dad used to, he introduced me to one Mr. Sukabodananda, who used to talk, I am the problem, I am the issue, I am the thing. Those days, I didn't understand what that was. Only now at the age of 40, I understand what that is.
Sukabodananda also is from Puji Swamiji's student only. But he has moved away from the Harsha Vidya Parampara, he is on his own now. Yeah. He is a student of Puji Swami, Swami Dayananda Saraswathi.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So, where do we stop now? The word two distinguishes this knowledge as immediate, right?
Yeah. You will start from there.
Yeah.
Swamiji, that Adhyasa, you said it's Paratra Purna. Can you repeat it?
Paratra Purva Drishta Avavasaha. That is, Brahma Sutra explains what is Adhyasa. That is Sutram. It is a Sutram to explain Adhyasa in a very brief manner. Paratra means in what is not, where it is not. Outside. Paratra. Why we do that? Where it is not, why you keep on searching? Why? Because Purva Drishta, by habit. By not habit of one day or 2 days. Janmadi Janmam. Purva Drishta Avavasaha. Because of the earlier Janma also we are doing the same thing. That memory flows into this life also. So we keep doing it again and again. Unless you break the chain, unless you get out of this Adhyasa, you are not going to find the solution. So Adhyasa is Paratra Purva Drishta Avavasaha.
Avavasaha means?
Avavasaha means
not visible.
Vasanam is lighting up. Avavasaha is wrongly lighting up. That's all. Wrongly light up in the sense in your buddhi, you have been looking outside only, all the solutions. So that continues. In this Janma also, it will continue till the time you break the cycle. Why? You have to come first you have to ask the question, how to break this cycle. That is why in my one of the articles, how I fashion my daily life. There is one article is there in my published articles. One article is that has got the maximum viewership Out of 4,000 viewership, more than 100 and 150 are only for that article. Because there I mentioned how to go about your daily life, how to fashion your daily life, wherein you come to look for this understanding. And just I have explained just how we can do it, how you can live your daily life. So that is what it is. In the sense, you have to break the cycle. You have to break the cycle to look for this understanding within. So that, once you start looking for it, it is very easy because why you didn't get it? Because you have not looked for it. You have looked for it elsewhere. But once you break the cycle and start looking it within, it's all very simple, which I have been generally telling you that I am the awareful being, aware of my own emotions, body, mind, senses, whatever I talk, whatever I read, whatever I live, plus, minus, everything I am aware of. That fellow, like we tell, everything is God given. You say everything is God given. The word simple, the word given itself means what? Given means there is somebody to whom it is given, in English language also.
Yes,
if everything is God given, to somehow to whom it is all given, has to be not part of everything. That means what is not a thing. That means it is a being. And that means Bhagavan cannot be other than that being. Because this being is limitless, because it is not it is not constrained by a vastu or a time or space. Because anything that is constrained by time, space or vastu is what is given. That is why you are able to see. That means this is the opposite of it. It is not constrained by time, space or vastu. That means it is being, it is niravayavam, everything all. Totally, but it is not a sunya, it is a thing, it is a being. And Bhagavan cannot be anything different, he also has to be the same thing. So, once you look for it, you get it in a jiffy. But you must be sincere about it. Yes, this is what I want to get in life. I want to understand this. That is what, andarmukhi bhava. Bhagavan says, just don't keep on looking outside. Antarmukhi bhava. Start looking within, you will get it. And I will help you, he says. Yeah. You will see that. Yeah. Rajagurhyam. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamidvasya